Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. 2014 Cadillac CTS. You see it's disassembled. This car got towed here about an hour away from another YouTuber, Todd from the channel UNWRECKED. So he buys auction cars, restores them, sells them. And he says he loves doing body work, but he doesn't like electrical. That's why this car is here. He said it's setting communication codes in the power steering, I think, the ABS, the airbags. So he just towed it here. Obviously it's not assembled yet. It does start and run. He wants these communication codes figured out. So this is going to be a network diagnosis. So first things first, you want to do a full health report, see what's online, see what's offline, see what codes are being set. I'll show you what the car does. So let's start it up. See what warnings it's saying. Traction control on, okay. Traction control off. Power steering, drive with care. Anything else? Airbag problem. And anything else? Okay, he's got all the lights disconnected, obviously. So it's going to set a whole bunch of light warning codes. Headlamp leveling. Okay, so here's a full health report. A lot of modules, and quite a few of them are red. Now I did a code clear, restarted the car. These came back. I'll show you the full health report, but we can just go one by one. Nothing interesting in the BCM. These are the ones. So parking brake control module, he's got the console torn apart. Not interested in that. Okay, power steering control module. Shut the vehicle off here. Control module communication chassis expansion CAN bus off. Okay, that's definitely part of the problem. Lost communication with steering wheel angle sensor module. Lost communication with electronic brake control module on chassis expansion CAN bus. Okay, invalid data received from electronic brake control module. Let's see what the ABS is setting. Again, same U0077. This chassis expansion CAN bus off. Lost communication with inflatable restraint, the airbags. Lost communication with steering wheel angle sensor. And Todd said that he did replace the steering wheel angle sensor, and that didn't do anything. There's steering wheel angle sensor module. Let's see if that's setting any codes. Read fault code. Okay, that's supposedly happy, but anything else here? Nothing else interesting. And the airbags, where is the airbag module here? Sometimes they label them in weird ways. Powertrain, that's happy. Other, human control interface module. Okay, don't care about that. Sometimes you do a report, and let's see. So open that up and look for the airbags. Here we go. Inflatable restraining sensing and diagnostic module. So IRSDM is our airbags. It's also setting a U0077 control module communication chassis expansion CAN bus off. So the question is, how can these modules talk to the scanner, but they can't talk to each other? We need, right off the bat, a wiring diagram of this whole information bus, all the networks, and then see how these modules are tied together and how they're talking to the scanner. Alright, so the owner, he already printed off the colored redrawn diagrams, and there's 9 pages here, a lot of modules, a lot of networks. So, here's our DLC, and we have several networks connected to the DLC. That doesn't mean all the networks come to the DLC. There could be a gateway, but let's find the modules that are fussing about, having communication codes: power steering, ABS, and airbags. And again, I looked through all the diagrams, and you have to go to almost the last page here. Okay, here we go. There's the airbag module. And let's see what network it's on. So there's low speed GM LAN serial data. That's single wire, green. And then high speed GM LAN serial data 2. That's the second high speed network. So it's on 2 networks. And I think what's going on here, it's talking to the scanner on the low speed, setting codes, but it can't talk to any other module on this high speed network. Now what's on this second, 2 high speed network? Well, let's see. Hey, look, there is our steering wheel angle sensor. So that module we're concerned about, airbags we're concerned about, and some of these other modules it may or may not have. There's left seat belt retractor motor logic, rear differential clutch control. What's on the next page here? There's the electronic brake controller. So that's on the high-speed 2 network. That's setting codes. Power steering control module, definitely. That's on the high-speed 2 network. You can see that's connected to here. And this is a pass-through, so the network goes from the ABS to the power steering control and then out with or without restraint provisions to the next page. You could have a multi-axis acceleration sensor. So a lot of variables here, but that is the network that's setting the faults. This GM high-speed GM LAN serial data 2. Now, GM has really nice OE diagrams that break these networks down, by network, and then they have the codes, the RPO codes that tell you exactly which options this car has. So that's my strategy here. Let's go to the OE diagrams. Let's take a picture of the RPO label and see exactly which modules this thing has, and also which connectors are in the network, and go from there. Alright, so here are the OE diagrams. That's the DLC. Then we have GM LAN 1 of 2. This is the first high-speed network. We don't have any problems with that network. 2 of 2. And then this chassis high-speed GM LAN. This is the one that we're concerned about. Now I printed them off so it'd be a little easier to see. And also, here's the RPO sticker. So we can reference this and see exactly which options this car has. So here's the OE diagram. Starting with the EBCM, we're dealing with the white and blue and yellow wires. Next is the power steering control module. Yes, that's equipped. So there's 2 modules there. And then we have these RPO options. So AX7 or no AX7. Well, if you go alphabetically, we have AXJ, but no AX7. So immediately you just cross that off. We're going straight through. And then UGN UVZ, it does not have this. Cross that off. It does not have UFQ. Cross that off. Front parking aid assist, multi-axis acceleration sensor. Suspension control module, F55. Again, reference the sticker. We only have 3 F codes. That's no F55, so this is more of the base model, I guess. Again, does not have active safety control module. So you can see how many modules are not equipped here. So far we just have EBCM, PSCM, power steering. Let's go to the next page. Come in here. Do we have G96? No. Chassis control module we don't have. Rear differential clutch control module we don't have. This is for the fancy all-wheel drive. This is just regular all-wheel drive. Come here, we don't have AX7. Finally, steering wheel angle sensor and airbag module. So check that out. We just eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 modules, and we're down to 4. Airbag, steering wheel angle sensor, power steering control, electronic brake control module. And those are the only codes that were stored, so we're on the right track. What's the next logical step here? So we know what network's affected, and we know exactly where the terminating resistors are. They're even labeled 120 ohms in the EBCM and 120 ohms in the airbag module. So what I want to do is, one, disconnect the battery so we don't have any stray voltages on these networks. Put an ohm meter across pins 12 and 13 at the DLC. We'll see what that reading is. If the network is all connected, we should have 120 divided by 2, which is 60 ohms. This is just like a regular CAN network. It's just, there's 2 of them here. If we get something different, there might be an open circuit. So let's get an ohm meter at the DLC. Alright, so I'm going to turn off my charger, disconnect that from the battery, and take the battery clamp off. Also, keep in mind this is a electronically controlled trunk, so just latch this. So if you shut the trunk, nothing bad will happen. It won't latch. Okay. At the DLC, unplug our dongle, get our favorite meter out, set it to ohms, and let's probe pins 12 and 13 Beautiful. 120 ohms. Okay, so it's reading one of the terminating resistors. The other one, there's an open circuit somewhere in this network. And we're dealing with only 4 modules. So let's go back to the diagram and see where we can split this network. Is there an intermediate connector that's easy to, easy to unplug? Hopefully this will be pretty efficient. Okay, so what we just did is we measured the resistance here, 120 ohms across these 2 pins. So I assume, since they're connected right here, they're going through the steering wheel angle sensor and measuring this resistance in the airbag module. Now that's not necessarily the case. It could be going all the way and measuring this resistance. So what I want to do is find an intermediate connector. For example, there's a X150 right there. Basically, if we disconnect this, we eliminate these modules, and if our resistance doesn't change, then we know that at least this leg of the circuit is good. So let's find this X150, and again, all data to the rescue. You just type in X150 in locations under connectors, and engine compartment, there's a strut tower. Looks like number 1 is X150, and it says body harness to engine harness bulk connector. Okay, and what it looks like in connector views is this, I guess, 54 pin bulk connector. So let's keep the ohm meter on the DLC, find this connector, and disconnect it. So very convenient that the fenders are missing. This connector is X150. It has the small pins and the bigger pins, and what I'm seeing is it's not latched completely all the way in, but let's just unplug it. Take a look in here. There's the female side. I'll take a look at the pins in there. What did our ohm meter do? Our ohm meter is still showing 120 ohms, So my suspicion was right. We're going after this ABS and power steering control module, you know, in the engine compartment. Let me just double check that all the pins are good in here, and we can see the pin numbers, and then we can get the ohm meter here and do some checks at this bulk connector. Alright, so at connector X150, again, the diagram is absolutely everything here. So we're coming in from the body harness. Then on pins 42 and 43, blue and yellow white wires, they go to the power steering control module, and this is the engine harness, and then they come back on pins 36 and 37 back to the body harness, and finally to the ABS unit. So which side's the body, which side's the engine? Well, again, visual inspection, this fat cable with the female connector, that comes in, you know, that fat loom from the body, and then once it goes to here, you see it curves back around, that goes down, and the engine computer is actually right here, and then you see that goes down to the engine. So that makes sense. So this is body harness, this is engine harness. So on the body harness, we're coming in on pins, what was it again, 42 and 43. And those are right here on the bigger pins, right in the side, in the middle row. And you can always, you know, double check your wiring colors. There's the blue and yellow, and there's the white. It's coming in from the body. So if I measure resistance here, we should see the resistance, the same resistance that we saw on the DLC at the airbag connector, if the wires are intact. So nice easy check. Bingo, we got 120 ohms. Okay, awesome. Now, so we verified from here down, good. Check. Next check we can do is move to pins 36 and 37 and check that way towards the EBCM. We should also see 120 ohms. So pins 36 and 37 are going to be in the next row. Let's see here. This one and this one. Okay. Again, blue and yellow and white. Yep. 125 ohms. Okay. Perfect. So we just verified that going that way is good. Check. So we're very close. Now we have to go through this power steering control module. So we can do a resistance check. This should be straight through from pins, you know, now on the engine harness side, 36 to 42, and then 37 to 43. We could do that. I have a feeling we're going to have to go to this power steering control module. We could do very easily is just jump these and eliminate the power steering control module and make sure we have 60 ohms at the DLC. But that's, you know, not necessary because we know we have 120 ohms on one pair, 120 ohms on the other pair, and if they could get connected through the power steering control module, we should have 60. So let's do some resistance checks on this connector now and see if there's a broken line or if they're both open or what's going on with this power steering control module. Alright, I got some AES wave adapters for those pins. Again, we're going towards the power steering control module and coming back. So on one pair, the blue and yellow should be continuous, and then the white should be continuous. So right now I'm connected to this pin, and those are the white and the white. Look at that, perfect continuity, 0 ohms. Let's move the leads to the other pair of wires, the blue and yellow wires. So we'll connect that to here, connect that to here, Here we go. Open circuit. So, again, what do we just prove? The white wire going all the way through the PSCM is good. The blue and yellow wire, bad. So we're really close. We need to get to this power steering control module and do our checks at pins 4 and 9. Look at this connector, see if there's any wiring issues. We're almost done. Okay, under the car, here's the connector for our power steering. So we can see all of the network wires, the blue and yellow and the white. So let's unplug this guy. Okay, pins look good. Looks beautiful there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wires. And now we have to see which pins they are. We have access to that connector, so we can do a continuity check for all 4 network wires from here to that connector. Well, actually, we know the white circuit's good. The blue and yellow is the one we're worried about. Alright, so blue and yellow wire. Let's first check pins 36 at the connector to pin 4 at the PSCM. So, pin 36. I got my ohm meter on. Let's see, gotta make sure we're on pin 36, not 42. Okay, that's definitely pin 36, yes. And here we want to be on pin 4. Pin 4. Open circuit. Okay, let's check the other one. So pin 9 to 42. This is going to be 42 right here. .22 mega ohms. It's still open circuit. So it looks like here it's open and here it's open. What are the chances of that? Well, they're going through the same harness. I guess it looks like could be some harness damage here. So that's the engine harness here. Goes down across the underside. So right here, here, up here, and then right here. I don't see anything too suspicious yet. We'll take a closer look here for any harness damage. I mean, this thing was wrecked in the front. He said he replaced the radiator, but the condenser is still okay. That looks all factory clipped in. The conduit's not smushed. Okay, let's if I find anything interesting, we'll show it on the camera, but we have to find something. Well, made a little error. So at the PSCM, there's 10 pins. I was on not the right pins here. So let's double check this. Again, from pin 36 to pin 4. So I wasn't on pin 4. Again, you can tell by wiring colors. I was on the blue wires, not the blue and yellow. So pin 4 is actually right here. And check it out. So that wire is actually good. Okay. What about the other one? So 42 to 9. It's going to be this one here. There it is. There's our 5.4 kilo ohm resistance that we saw on the initial reading. So now we know that 36 to 4, this is okay, but 9 to 42 is bad. Right in here. So now we have to go hunting for this basically open wire. And what we could do is set up the ohm meter and just do a gentle little wiggle check and see if we can find. I'm just going to pull in the harness a little bit here. It's not changing much at all. Okay, and kind of wiggle it. Oh, stop it. Seven kilo ohms. Wiggle it here, here. My connector's fine. Oh, where could this probably be? Here. It goes down. Make sure that the pin itself isn't like pulling out. You want to do a little pull check at the connector itself. Resistance is not changing. I bet this harness is going to be nicked somewhere where it's hard to see. Alright, so I'm touching this part of the harness right here. You can see our resistance is actually jumping around quite a bit. I think we're pretty close to locating the problem. So I push it in, the resistance goes down. If I pull on it, the resistance goes up. Not by much. Comes down and over this cross member. Could have been pinched somewhere. We might have to open up the harness right here and just do the key tug test and see where that wire snaps. There we go. I can see the blue and yellows. The less intrusive you are, the better. So let me just get in here and pull on these two wires, see which one it is. Alright, so here are the two pairs of network wires going to and from this power steering control module. So if I pull on this blue and yellow, not much is changing. If I pull on this blue and yellow, there it is. So if I pull hard enough, ta-da-da, we're done. Alright, so I pulled the harness through a little bit to expose both ends of the broken network wire. So let's just clean this up and strip it back a bit. We have plenty of slack to, we don't have to extend it or anything. And we'll just wrap this up real nice. So I assume this happened because of the accident, and then the wire got exposed and eventually broke. And we'll have to clean that up with some sandpaper. solder it together, clear the codes, and then Todd at UNWRECKED will take it from here. Alright, wire's all cleaned up. Warm up the TS100. Look how fast this thing warms up. Boom. Make sure the solder wicks into those strands. Beautiful solder joint. Do a little tug test. Slide on the shrink wrap. I just use a little mini torch to toast it on there. Beautiful. Plug everything in, clear the codes out. Alright, so here is the repair. Power steering module is plugged back in. And hey, 0 ohms, perfect. So let me plug this in and we'll measure the resistance at the DLC. We should see 60 ohms. Alright, now at the DLC, pins 12 and 13. 60 ohms, perfect. Let me wrap up the harness. We'll reconnect the battery, rescan it, clear the codes out, make sure this car is ready to go. Alright, full code scan. Let's clear all the DTCs in the vehicle and see if anything comes back. Alright, here we go. Start it up. Change oil soon, airbag. Alright, one more smart scan. And we'll save this as after repair. Alright, so we have a lot fewer codes now. Let's see, dimming circuit, don't care. Airbag, obviously the driver's knee airbag is removed, so that's normal. Headlamp control module, headlights are disconnected. Park brake switch is disconnected, that's normal. EBCM says invalidator received from park brake control module, yep. USB and cold start rough idle because this thing's eating coolant as a blown head gasket, but that's it. We solved the network communication faults. So thanks a lot, Todd, for bringing me this Cadillac, and check out Todd. I'll leave a link in the description. It's called UNWRECKED. He does some pretty nice body work. So thanks all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.